Jesus was talking to his disciples one day, and he brought up the Tower of Shechem. And of course, we know that men ran to hide from the advancing army in the Tower of Shechem, and the tower fell on them and killed them all. And Jesus said, do you think that they were any more sinners than anybody else? And that was the reason why the tower fell on them? No. Everybody has their day, and it is appointed once for man to die and then the judgment. And it doesn't matter when you pay that obligation to the curse, or God, for that matter of fact. It's going to happen. The young people, the babies, the older people, the middle-aged people, all of us have an appointment with the Grim Reaper, the angel of death. And so it behooves us to prepare for that time. I know I came fairly close to it just a few months ago. And as a matter of fact, it was so uncomfortable to not be able to breathe that I laid down to die. I wanted to die. And my wife was over there praying that if God was through with me, for him to take me home. But if not, save me or bring me out of it. And he did bring me out of it. But during that time, I had no thought of dying or the hereafter. It was just the uncomfortable feeling and the knowing that if I had laid down and given up this life, that it would have been more comfortable for me. So we all have that time. We all have that appointment. And trust me, I hate to be the bearer of bad news or negativity all the time. But I believe that somebody has to call the Christians to sobriety and to say, hey, listen, this is what God requires of us. He requires a people who are sober. He requires a people who are ready at any time to give their testimony or to go and meet him and stand before him and not be ashamed of what they've done. So there has to be a crier in the night. There has to be somebody who's saying, let's do things sober, let's do things right, let's do things justly, let's do things humbly, and everything will work out for the glory of God. This is the way that God intended it to be from the beginning. And as we walk through life, we have to know that each step that we take is watched very carefully. It's not ordered necessarily, but it's watched very carefully. And everything that we do for the record, so to speak. There's a giant courtroom in the sky. This is for the record. This is on the record. And this will be remembered by God on that day. So let's be careful what we say, how we talk, how we walk, how we act, and even how we dress. Because we must show forth the kind of testimony that differentiates us between the world and us. We have to show that there is a difference. There's a marked difference in the way the Christian acts and the way that the world acts. And the people can see that something has happened to you and to your life that's out of the ordinary, that ordered you out of that walk in sin and compliance with the world to a world that was in compliance with God, and a time of joy and a time of peace and a time of anticipation for our meeting with him. And if we do things right, and if we uh, are always mindful of the judgment, if we're always mindful of the things that we've done being called before us, then we're going to stand with God before God with a clear conscience, because we've done everything with God in mind. Everything is done with Him in the picture. I was kind of tired of seeing that WWJD. What would Jesus do? But that's true. I mean, what would He do in a situation like that? The Lamb went to sit down at the right hand of God. The right hand has always been the sign of power. So Jesus sat down at the power side of God. And if we do as He would do, as the Master would do, then we have no question in our life or about our life. God bless you. Maranatha.